So hello and welcome to a very, very special episode of Good Fat Life today. If you can see, we have 200 behind us because it is, it's actually our 202nd episode. But as Johnny, our tech guru here, so aptly reminded me on the 200th episode that it was 200. And so we're celebrating it because it is a really big deal. And if I wasn't on camera, I might even swear a little bit about what a big deal it is. And so when I was looking at who I wanted to be my very special guest for the 200th episode, it had to be you, Terry. Terry Duperon with Good Fat Company. And so we started this journey together and almost 10 years ago. Yeah. Right, Terry?
Yes.
So welcome.
Thank you and congratulations, Sherri. What a journey it's exciting what you're creating.
Well, it is exciting, Terry. And I was just kind of like, it's so easy to kind of get in your little bubble and you just do what you do and you forget that, man, we've been on a journey.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to my mind about you and this is tenacity, just how tenacious that you've been, even when you said, this is what I want to do and this is what I'm going to do. And you've been tenacious ever since through all the ups and downs and the highs and the lows.
And there have been all of those, right?
Yes.
Right? So, yes, and we have a new issue. It just came out October 1st for Good Fat Life. And it's I don't know, every issue, it's a lot of ebbs and flows, but they just bring me so much joy. And the people that we meet and the stories we get to share and the connections that we get to make through all this is, I don't know, it's humbling.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. But let's talk about, kind of where the Good Fat Life concept came about like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Right. So Terry came to me and said, hey, we had been wanting to maybe find a way that we could do a collaboration,
right.
And came to me and said, how would you like to work on a product, right? So talk about your product.
Yeah, so back then it was our Good Fat bars, and as you mentioned that we've been looking at how can we collaborate
right.
and pull our skills together, and so we had this idea and concept with Darren as well. His original concept of the Good Fat bar, or a bar that with the macros of low carb, keto,
but it was about, because there wasn't anything on the market that was really good fat.
Right.
Terry and I looked at. We looked at thousands of ingredients on bars. We just go to store after store wherever we were and just read the labels.
Right.
Right.
Even when at first the initial thought of it was when I was working with another company, I brought Darren, Dr. Schmidt, the bar, and he said, I don't want this. I was really surprised because I think it was all organic. And he says it doesn't have the right macros. And he didn't like it had brown rice syrup in it. So it was an education for me too. And then we said, well, let's just find a way to create this. And that's what we did. We said, let's do this.
And when you talk about macros, you're talking about carbs, fats, and protein. The combination of them, and how they all fit together, and the ingredients being really clean.
Yes.
So we had the bars, and then I found that people who were interested in knowing more about eating good fat and their nutrition wanted more information just about all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Right?
It was part of you're making me remember about just the journey of creating Good Fat too, the brand.
Oh, yeah.
And the resistance that there was, like, oh my God, you're going to have to do all this marketing. And then we said, no, we'll just educate people through our network. And what we did is through our chiropractors that were very passionate and health professionals that were very passionate about teaching people about good fat. And so it shifted from a lot of jokes about good fat. You still get them sometimes.
Right.
But to some, this is really critical to our health and well-being, and probably the biggest deficit as far as the macros go that we have or we eat fat and then we eat a lot of other carbs, which is
Right.
really
Defeats itself.
dangerous.
Yeah, yeah. So but it's been such I'm thinking we started with the idea,
Yep.
and then we created the Good Fat Snack.
Yeah.
But remember, we spent hours with MSU with product
did.
development and packaging and satiety testing and
with the students.
with the students and with professionals in how things, the umami and all of that. I mean, so we had all of that, and then the packaging and then the shipping, because the product melted.
Right.
We didn't want to put preservatives in it because it would melt. To keep it from melting, we wanted to keep it clean, but to ship to Arizona in the summer.
Yeah.
Because we were shipping all over the country.
Right.
And so anyways, it's been quite a journey.
It is. And the other side of that, too, with the commitment to purity, as much as we could, was some of the other chocolate companies, they do something with the DNA that cellularly impact the chocolate so that it has a higher melting point, which impacts the nutritional value of the chocolate. So we said, well, we're not going to do that. We're going to just find a way to ship it. Right. It's very expensive. It's,
Right. And also on finding the cacao butter.
Yeah.
I mean, we sourced that. We looked all over the world to find the cleanest.
Right.
And, it's just like, it's been a journey. Then with the magazine, when I split off and started the media company, as a magazine, and then now in the podcast and the workshops so we're really a media company, and you've really taken the Good Fat Company. So we've got Good Fat Company, which is Terry's company with the food, the food products, and he's going to talk about what they have in a minute.
Yeah.
And then I have the media company, which is the media platform. Yeah. It's the educational arm, if you will.
Yeah.
So, and they're separate, but we collaborate all the time.
We do collaborate. Right? And then you have the whole retreat side of what you do too, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, we do. We have actually October 20th, we have a workshop here at Brighton, because I'm at the Brighton Lighthouse is my world headquarters, which is like, oh my gosh, it's like Disneyland for entrepreneurs.
It's a cool space.
It's perfect. So tell me about the because you've really evolved from our snacks. You have beautiful desserts that really, you say dessert, but it can be breakfast easily.
Right? It can be, yeah. Yeah, so we evolved, and actually it was my daughter's idea, the original concepts of creating desserts. Since that time, I guess it's been about 3 years now, I think.
Wow.
And we're developing these delicious, nutritious, very low glycemic, no added sugar, frozen mousses. Our newest one is the lemon blueberry crumble. It's really tasty. And, we use real lemon. Same thing with our strawberry cheesecake. We focus on real strawberries. We use real heavy whipping cream. It's not a low carb, it is a low carb. It's not a low calorie, but it's good calories. That's the other thing that's really important is that they're good calories. They actually feed your body.
Well, and what I love about them is they're so decadently delicious.
Yeah.
Right? But you and you feel full. I mean, your body gets what it needs, so it's not hungry for hours.
Yeah.
So that's cool too.
Yeah.
And they're gluten-free.
They're gluten-free. We don't add any sugar to them, so they're low carb. And we've had people with diabetes eat them with no negative impact on their blood sugar.
And I've worn a glucose monitor for months just as for my own information. I really wanted to see how different things impacted me, and there's no impact.
Yeah.
And which is nice. There's no spikes.
Right.
So again, it's guilt-free, and it's solid nutrition.
Yeah, and it's a game changer for especially people with diabetes.
Yeah.
More and more people, and you just see a lot more products too now that they're doing things alternative to sugar. But for people with diabetes, and if you ever, we come from the same generation, just the awful tasting, the side of, so this is something that was a game changer for people with diabetes, especially because they could have the flavor and the really nice creamy experience and not have the negative impact.
The spikes. So talk about where are your products now? You're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, so just here locally, we ship all over the country still. Ship to Florida even in the hot heat. It's a lot of ice, and then we're here locally. We're in Joe's. We work with Market Wagon too, which is a local online farmers market. Especially this time of year, basically people can order the whole gamut from dairy to their meats to other vegetables that are grown in greenhouses, and then they deliver to your door. In our community, every Tuesday they'll deliver whatever you order online. They deliver it to your door.
Wow, that's cool.
It's really cool. So that's been a really nice.
And that's called Market Wagon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that a national thing or is it just a local?
It's not national. They're out of Indiana. So
Okay.
I think it's in 4, 5, 6 states now.
Okay.
But it's a really nice model. So if you like,
Right.
even your Michigan syrups, and so it's the whole gamut of products and baked goods, and I know there's some vegan stuff too. Some people really want the vegan. I don't think there's vegan keto yet. Something we're thinking about, but that's a great place for people in the community to buy stuff and just have it delivered to their home, and it's nice locally made stuff. And we're in hospitals too. We're getting more into hospitals. We're in 3 or 4 hospitals now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, in their cafeterias.
Well, and it's good to see because hospitals can have so much sugar in them.
Yeah,
Right?
Shockingly so. How much is in the cafeteria?
I've been to treatments, cancer, their IV treatments. I'm just losing the word for it. Chemotherapy, and they have pantries full of sugar, and it just feels incongruent.
It's nice. Like Covenant Health, we're working with them, and they have a real passion to bring other healthier snacks into the cafeteria, both for their staff, because I don't know what the percentage is, but a high percentage of the traffic, especially in the evenings, are staff.
Right.
So they want to bring in more and more nutritional products.
Oh, good.
Which is exciting. We're also here in Brighton at Stateside Deli.
Yes,
we can't
you
forget
are.
about our
Yes.
friends over at
Stateside
Deli.
Yeah. It's we're going to do that. We're going to do a special in January issue on gluten-free where it's available, because I'm gluten-free.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge. It is a challenge finding good delicious options that aren't just crappy nutrition.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how it used to be, like no fat, right? And then you look at the ingredients. Yeah, the fat was no fat, but the rest of it was just pure crap.
Yeah.
But it was marketing. So gluten-free is kind of the same way. It's gluten-free, but it's not anything you'd really want to eat.
Yeah.
So tell me, one of the things we didn't talk about earlier is the kitchen. Oh my gosh. Finding a kitchen that we could work in.
Yeah.
That was a real challenge too.
Yeah.
So tell me about what's going on in your kitchen now.
So it's pretty exciting stuff. We've partnered with a group called Park Life, and they're in the Park building. It's the old school downtown Plymouth. It's a huge 3-story building. I don't know how many. It's like in the 6 figures square footage. So they work with young adults. So they're out of school on the different grade levels of the spectrum to teach them job skills.
So this is with autism.
With
right?
autism,
Okay.
yes, thank you. And so our goal and objective is to teach them skill sets and to also build confidence so that they really feel good about what they're doing and have fun, of course. And it's been, as far as quality of life for me, it's a game changer. They're having a great time, so it's a fantastic collaboration. We're looking at collaborating on some other stuff too, like a pop-up market in the building for events, because there's an orchestra and there's theater in there. There's, I don't know how many other businesses, but a lot.
Okay.
So that's been a very positive experience, very eye-opening.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's awesome, Terry.
Yeah.
It's just another way that good fat, right?
Yeah.
Can because I think at the heart of it, it always was about creating products, services, whatever, that would allow people to be their very best selves.
Right.
Right? I mean, from the very get-go, that was the whole
Absolutely.
basis of our existence, if you will.
Yeah, and with all the chronic illnesses, that we
Right.
can make a positive impact. That
Right.
people would have choices for healthier, cleaner products to
Feel better.
feel better and not have to deal with chronic
Right.
illnesses.
And you were talking about, just in your journey, you're finding about other things like ADHD
Yeah.
and I know for epilepsy, and there's a number of, where food makes a huge difference. Well, food makes a huge difference for everything.
Yes,
The
it
quality of
does.
food, right?
Yeah.
But some of the things that the conditions that are big in our society today, if you eat well, it really tampers them down.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that's the most challenging thing for people with ADHD, which I work with that, I've been working really directly with that for about 2 years, 2.5 years, is sugar.
Okay.
Is a really negative impact for people with ADHD, high carbs. And it depends on who you talk to there, but the research and the people I like to listen to, carbs are a big part in heavily processed foods. More simple, vegetables, fruits, good fat, however you eat that, whether it's animal protein, non-animal protein.
Avocados.
Avocados. Nutrition plays a big role in ADHD, in managing ADHD. Because with ADHD, you hit points that you just can't focus. And it's not willpower.
It's chemical.
Yeah, it's like if
Yeah.
you had your arm amputated, you can't willpower your arm to grow back. So it's learning how to work with ADHD. And it's so multifaceted. I'm reading this amazing book, ADHD 2.0, and I think the author has ADHD. I think his wife does, and their son. There's some amazing stories, very inspiring stories about children who really struggled. But things like with ADHD people, really, they withdraw from society because they struggle, and it impacts performance, and they really need to socialize. And that's the thing too with the community. With collaborating with the community is becoming a much bigger theme in our company. Is how can we be a better, stronger community partner? How can we bring people together? And we don't care what walk of life, what belief system, what religion, what political views, gender, any of it. We just want to bring people together so that they can collaborate and work together. And this whole pop-up market that we're working on ties a lot more of that together as well. But that's a big part of our motivation right now.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because absolutely community is everything.
It is.
Right? And community that is diverse.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be boring if we all were the same, right?
Very.
So, I totally agree with you. We're so on the same page with that one. Is
Yeah.
just building community.
Yes.
And I don't know, I'm just sitting here and it's like kind of getting teary about this journey because when we started out, we had no clue where we were going to be going.
Yeah, no clue whatsoever.
And it feels like kind of right now is where, we're not babies anymore. We're kind of like, I would say we're like young adults, right?
Business-wise, yeah.
Right, because there's so much more. I just
Yeah.
feel like there's so much more. I was listening to a podcast as I was driving over here about midlife crisis, and the authors were kind of saying, well, it's not really a midlife crisis; it's like a midlife chrysalis, if I'm pronouncing that right. But where we're changing, and it's not bad.
Right.
It's like it feels like with the good fat, we're evolving,
Yeah.
right? We're evolving so much, but each day is just such. I don't know. I can't wait to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Because who knows what it's going to bring.
Yeah.
It's been such a journey. And the people, I mean, just with 200 podcasts, that means we've talked to 200 people about the cool stuff that they're doing.
Right.
And I love that there's that opportunity to bring people together because really that's the point, right?
Yeah.
It's connecting.
And deepening connection. So doing the podcast deepens the connection with who
Yeah.
you're doing the podcast with. It deepens the connection with themselves and what their vision and missions are, talking about it.
Right.
Bringing forth what's important to them.
Right.
And so the podcast provides all of that. And the deepening of connection, that's the thing with the community too, is not just being together, but how can we actually deepen that connection so that we're for each other?
Right. So that there's that feeling. I think that in life there is nothing more wonderful. And this is just nothing more wonderful than knowing that you have these people in the boat with you.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody's going to do what they can to make the whole better.
Yeah.
There's just something magic about that because we all are going to have our stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. And you just know that the people that are around you are going to go, hey, that's how we learn.
Yeah.
And we're here for you.
Yeah.
And there's something magic. So you did mention, my son had ADHD. And it was, there were teachers who were saying he's stupid, he's dumb, he's a troublemaker, and all of these things.
Yeah, that's the common thing.
And it's heartbreaking to me. It doesn't matter if your diagnosis is ADHD or diabetes or whatever it is. There's those labels, or autism. There's those labels that people get, and there's so much more, right? If we can get through and help them navigate and help all of us navigate those outer things.
Yeah. It's interesting. One of the things I read in the book about supporting if you have children with ADHD is have meals together.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's about creating that connection.
Yeah.
It's an event. Have meals together. Have grandparents come over for meals. So that connection, because they need that social connection and affirmation that they're loved and cared for. And ultimately, that is the biggest confidence boost that they can have, that they know that they're okay with ADHD or with their struggles. And there's a story in the book, too, that it's a global thing, and the kid just totally turned his life around. And the parents changed how they were, because they were disciplining him for his challenges. They were not meeting him where he was at with an open heart. They were trying to change him versus like, okay, this is what we're dealing with. How can we do this with love? How can we do this with deeper connection? And how can we let our child know we have their back no matter what?
No matter what. And it's interesting you say that. I think as a mom, I did that for my son.
Yes,
I was there no matter
sure.
what. But society wasn't.
Yes.
And there were a lot of battles. And, sometimes I felt like it was us against the world.
Yeah.
And just as we get more educated, it's nice. It's just good to provide that. I love that. Have meals together.
Yeah.
And who doesn't benefit by having a good meal together?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And we have amazing recipes in Good Fat Life for meals together.
Yes, you do.
So.
You have fantastic recipes.
So, well, Terry, it's just, I don't know. I can't wait till our 300th podcast to see that'll be like 2 years from now, to see where we've grown and how we've grown, because I just know that we're on this path.
Yes, we are.
And so many, I don't know. I'm just like I said, I'm just so humbled with the experiences and the people we've been able to meet and share their stories and learn about and learn from.
Yeah, and even with us too, like us working through and look at the deepening of relationship that we have, you and I.
Oh.
And we, in the beginning, we had our own challenges, our own personality clashes, and that has just really disappeared.
That's true. And we've learned, and I know, I'll speak for myself. I mean, through all that, I've learned so much about the importance of understanding and appreciating how another person processes and personality.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear those things about the Myers-Briggs and all that stuff, and some of that's a little too clinical in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part of it is important.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Because we all are different in our ways, and we're all the same in lots of ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's true. It's been a journey, and I can't wait to meet your students at Park.
Yes.
in the kitchen. It's going to be
Yes.
so much fun,
Yes, I would love to have you come and
right?
experience that. It's really a
And-
fun experience.
Yeah, and also we brought treats. So Johnny, we brought treats for everybody. Terry brought them for Good Fat Life desserts.
Yep, I passed them out. Everybody went over really well. And I know, Sherri, you're probably getting ready to close out. I just want to say a few things. I've been very honored to be on your podcast, right, to be the studio engineer for it. It's been nice. You're a beautiful person, Sherri.
You're going to make me cry.
I don't think that anybody that's come to the studio that you've had on here hasn't come away feeling better, right? Because you glow, right? You've got a lot to say about stuff. It's just super nice. And I became friends with you over this time. So that's been really cool too. I've met so many cool people, right, that have come through the doors, and I've heard some fantastic stories, things that I would never listen to. And I've walked away, right, inspired on some of this stuff and that, thinking, geez, this is, and you've heard me talk about it, and I talk about it to other podcasters that come in. Your story is a gambit of everything, right? It's not sports, it's not this, right? It covers so many different things. I think it would be enjoyable for anybody to listen to, right? You're going to find a podcast episode that's going to connect with you. And a lot of them have connected with me, right? From having a person from Africa doing monoboxes, to having a Buddhist priest on one thing and not knowing nothing about it, to having healthcare professionals, mental health professionals, just all sorts of stuff. It's been just a whirlwind of fun to have been associated with your podcast. So thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Thank you. I know. You got
Yeah,
Terry tearing
I
up
got
too,
tears,
Johnny.
yeah.
So thank you. And on that note, I guess we had the honor of being the first podcast when they opened the Speakeasy, right?
Nice.
So that was so cool. And to have this kind of quality expertise in Brighton, right? Brighton's a cool place.
It is.
It is a really cool place. And I want to thank our sponsors. So Santa Course Cleaners has been with us since the beginning, and we've got some really cool things that Jim Gilliland has brought to my attention about fibers and fabrics and all of that. He's phenomenal in clothes, how we care for our clothes.
And those are some fantastic episodes to listen to as well, right?
Yes, they are. They are. And I can't wait to share with some stuff that we just found out that's ancient about clothing and fibers and textiles. And then also to Hands-On Health Chiropractic, Dr. Rushford, Johnny said you walk out of here feeling better, but it's the same thing at their office. Even when I feel great and walk in, I'm going for a preventative treatment, I still walk out feeling better than when I walked in, because they just have an amazing practice over there. And they are so dedicated to your care. And we are just honored to have people like that on our team, in our boat, right, Terry?
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for being here. And we will let people know where they can get the desserts and the foods. And here's to 200 more episodes, right?
And thank you, Sherri, for including me, having me here. And what Johnny said's right. It's just leaving here feels better.
Oh, it's
being
my
with
honor.
you. Yeah.
So, all right. So on that, check out our new magazine, goodfatlife.com, and our workshop, October 20th. We have them like every 6 months. So in the fall and in the spring, and they are called More Wonder, Please. And it's really 6 hours of the finest self-care, which we all need, right? We all need it. So go out and live your good fat life.